Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Steel Target Paint Podcast. I'm Jeff Jones.
I'm Steve Foster. What's going on, Jeff?
Not much, Steve. How are you? How's things been?
Oh, it's been a busy couple of weeks. You know, before we get into the podcast tonight, I just want to thank everybody that's reached out to me from the shooting community. My daughter's surgery went extremely well, but very humbled by the love and the support of the community. It means a lot. So thank you for everybody that posted messages and sent cards and all that kind of stuff. It meant a lot to Vanessa and our family, so I appreciate it. What have you been up to, Jeff?
You know, just getting ready for Florida State. Went over and shot the Volusia match this weekend, and was very fortunate enough to sneak into A class. Can't wait for tomorrow. This is Tuesday, so wait for tomorrow's classification update. And I'll have one more gun, and I'll have reached my 2019 goals of getting them all up to at least an A.
Oh, good for you.
Of course, the last one's single stack, so you think a revolver's tough? Single stack is tougher.
Not if you have the right revolver. That's what I keep hearing.
Yeah, well, mine is pretty good. You know, I like that 9.29. At least it's 8 shots, but it's still tough. And as soon as I make, if I can make, fortunate enough to make A in single stack, then it's dots the rest of the way, except for limited.
I hear you.
So, how about yourself? You doing much shooting?
Well, I've been doing some training. I've had a little bit of a break in the schedule for the last couple of weeks. So that bum Chris Barrett's been over here a couple of times, made a couple of videos shooting underneath the lights and shot a little PCC this past weekend. That was a whole bunch of fun. So getting ready to come down to invade Lake Okeechobee, Florida. So that's going to be fun. There's going to be, man, we're going to have Steel Target Paint's going to take over that range, huh? We got a lot of shooters coming down.
Absolutely. Just from memory, I'm going yourself, myself, Chris Barrett, Fish, Nealon, help me out here. Kurt Grimes all the way from California.
Most importantly, Maria Grimes from California.
There you go.
You can tell Kurt I said that too.
Yep. Zach Jones and his son, Zach Jr. coming down. Yeah. And I didn't look at the rest of the schedule, but there may be one or two more that sneak in there, and that would be great. Looking forward to the sea of blue and orange invading the range.
And rumor is that that bum Brian Conley is going to be there. So something about a campfire, and, well, this is a G-rated show, so I can't go into all the details of what's going to happen after the campfire.
I'm going to have to bring some cigars.
Yeah, probably. Probably.
Well, Steve, we got a great guest tonight. You reached out to him. I'm going to let you introduce him.
Yeah, everybody, we've got Bill Duda with us. He is a competitor in USPSA. He shoots a little steel challenge. Welcome to the podcast, Bill. How you doing?
Pretty good. How you guys been?
Good. So I know that you kind of reached out early on, or you got into promoting Steel Target Paint. I think it was probably 2 or 3 years ago. I remember you shooting a video out on Facebook, and that's how I knew who you were. So what kind of shooting do you do? You do some USPSA, correct?
Oh, quite a bit of USPSA. That was kind of my start in the practical shooting community. So I started off shooting USPSA about 2010. And from there, it wasn't but a few years later, I started helping run major matches. And the first year I took on the Area 8 Championship, we pulled you guys in as a sponsor when Steel Target Paint seemed like it was pretty new. It wasn't as big and known as it is now, that was for sure.
Yeah.
What divisions do you shoot, Bill?
I've been shooting carry optics for the last 2 years. The 3 years before that, I was humping a revolver around, doing a lot of reloading. And then before that, I was shooting production.
That's a good progression. Interesting progression to go from production to revolver and then to carry optics. But
it depends on how big of a masochist you are. So I was getting ready to buy another production gun, actually, because I realized after a few years of that shooting a Glock was not for me.
Right.
And I started
took you a
putting
couple of years, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, young, dumb, didn't know any better.
I hear you.
But I got I was making a decision on spending, $1,000 or so on a real production gun to try to do well, and it dawned on me that if I was going to buy another gun, I should probably buy another gun for a different division. And then all of the other guns for all the other divisions is basically a 1911 variant to try to win. And I knew I would never want to shoot a revolver after shooting a 1911 competition. So I figured I'd get that out of my system, go ahead and make master in that, and be happy with myself. So that's what I did.
Oh, cool.
Nice. I'm actually, we have a level 2 match at the Wyoming Antelope Club coming up here in 2 weeks called the Factory Gun Classic. And it's only factory guns. And historically, I've shot production. I shot single stack last year, but I'm actually going to shoot revolver this year. In first time ever in USPSA.
Yeah. Welcome to the reloading club.
Yes, I have my moon clips all ready to go. I have practiced it, and I realize I'm not going to be fast, and I don't care.
Don't worry, none of us were.
I will hit targets. I know that.
All right, Bill, let's talk about revolver here for a second, because, you know, the kid inside of me loves a revolver, but man, you know, my competition triggers I shoot on every gun all start with a 1, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's like just under 2 pounds or 1.5 pounds. And this Smith & Wesson 929 that I got, I think it's like 18 pound, maybe it's 14 pound trigger, but it's like 6 miles long. It's a whole different ball game. So what kind of revolver do you have? And then what did you do to it, or you just took it the way it was?
Well, so funny story is I took it the way it was, but not the way you think it was. When I decided to start shooting revolver, the 929 was just coming into the public as being known as it's in development, so it wasn't really a gun that was ready to hit the market. So I bought a 687? Crap, I can't remember.
38 special, 8-shot 38 special?
That's the one.
Yeah,
and
I think
then
it's a 687.
Yep.
687, and I had it sent directly over to TK Customs. I never took delivery of it before then. He did an action job on it. He did, you know, their chamfering to take 9mm cases, all that jazz. So my first time touching the gun was after it had already been worked, and I don't know any better. So I think that gun was at like a 6.5 pound pull. And, man, I could just crank them out. The hardest part about shooting the revolvers well is learning where the break is for the hammer and prepping the trigger as you're transitioning between targets. That's all it's about right there in Steel Challenge.
I just
if
mashed
you can
the trigger.
Keep your sights aligned, well, if you can keep your sights aligned and have that hammer ready to drop by the time it gets there, you're going to be golden.
Yeah.
You know, the 929 comes with a, I believe it's a titanium cylinder.
Yep.
And I've heard that it's very difficult to feel that lockup with the titanium, and if you switch to a steel cylinder, that you feel the lockup better.
Well, there's this thing called dry fire practice. Have you heard of it?
You know, I have, and that's, you know, what a segue. Steve, great choice of guests for great segues here. Okay, Bill, what is Go Fast, Don't Suck?
Well, okay. Go Fast, Don't Suck was I'm bored, I want to do something with my time that is going to absolutely be wasteful. So I started a meme page on social media. Yeah. So I started doing memes on social media, and it wasn't but like a couple weeks in of just picking on, you know, the practical shooting sports. Nothing's off. Well, there are some things off limits, but you know, all of the divisions, all of the sports that, you know, I've played in or know about, we go around and mess with people. And it wasn't very long before people were already asking, like 2 weeks in, they were asking for stickers and patches. I was like, you guys are kidding, right? Like, that's not a thing. And they're like, no, man, it's a thing. We want stickers and patches. So we started doing shirts, patches, stickers, all that stuff. Long story short, I am now doing custom competition jerseys. We're doing dry fire targets and a whole bunch of stuff. So we're actually a registered LLC as Go Fast Don't Suck LLC. We're getting our logo set up as far as getting it patented, so it's, you know, copyright protected and trademarked and all that stuff, and running with it. So one of the things that we developed once I purchased Alpha Gorilla Sports 2 months ago now. So purchased out of Girl Sports, one of the things he was doing was doing dry fire targets for USPSA and IDPA. I was like, man, you guys are like missing out on a huge market because Steel Challenge has the 8 stages. That's what they shoot, the 8 stages. There's
Right.
no kit for the 8 stages other than some other guy. So I was like, well, let me see what I can do. So I bust out a tape measure, worked my math skills that I never put to use since college, and figured out at 8 feet what the size perspective for each target is. So when you're standing in the box, you're looking at a target. Sure, they're 35, 30 feet, 45 feet, whatever, but that doesn't mean anything when you're standing in the box other than the size of the target gets smaller the farther it goes away. So I did all the math and made dry fire kits where you can put the targets up on your wall, stand back 8 feet, and you'll have exactly the same perspective as if you were in the box on the range. The kits
Very
are
cool.
$30.
Very cool. Now, what's for, we'll take Accelerator, which is one of the widest stages. Maybe Speed Option might be a little wider. What's the distance you need on the wall to be able to do a stage like that?
Yeah, Smoke and Hope is actually the worst of the bunch.
Really?
Because the targets they're so close to you that
Gotcha.
you actually have to get the same transition field. You got to spread them out. Yeah, I think the furthest one was almost 12 feet. Maybe it was closer to 13 feet.
Okay.
But yeah, you need a little bit more space for that one as far as laterally on the wall goes.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, the cool thing about these dry fire decals is that you want to practice that one where you can't leave it up around the house in a different place. You can just take over the living room for an afternoon or 20 minutes, stick them up on the wall, do your dry fire practice, pull them off the wall, stick them back on the paper, and stick them in the cabinet. And the next time you need them, you stick them right back up on the wall. The adhesive on them is not meant to be permanent. It's a very temporary sticker or adhesive. And as long as you have like a painted surface to stick them to or something that isn't porous. So if you try sticking it to something like raw drywall, it'll probably peel the paper off of the wall. You don't want that. A painted surface you're fine with. We found that putting it on wood or fake wood or, linoleum, we've had somebody stick them up on steel buildings. I mean, it'll peel off of those all day long. It just has a little hard time not, releasing the paper stuff.
I'm thinking the back side of a garage door. Most garage doors are aluminum.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thinking the back side of a garage door. Pull the cars out. I don't know, Steve. This might be my answer right now to having my own home range.
Hey, Bill, a serious question, Bill. All right, we're
Yes,
all
sir.
friends here. So, do you have a home range, Bill?
No.
No, neither does Jeff. So he
No,
needs
I don't.
these.
No.
No. The nearest range to me in any direction I travel is 35 minutes.
That's not too bad.
Wow. Yeah, that's not too bad.
No, this is a running.
not
This
too
is a
bad.
running joke that Steve has. He reminds me, and I've been on his home range. In fact, I marked my territory in the back corner. He doesn't know that though.
He did. He says, "Hey, Steve, can you give me a minute?" I'm like, "Yeah, okay, Jeff. Let me turn the lights off for you." So it's pretty cool, Jeff. I've got a set of Bill's dry fire kit for Steel Challenge. You know what really struck me, and I was kind of like, "Hey, man, you sure I can put this stuff on my wall?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'll be fine, Steve." So I threw him up on the wall. I'm like, "Man, that's pretty." You do have to measure it out and all that kind of jazz, and find which circle goes with what stage. But it's cool that the type of adhesive, it goes right on, take it off, put it on, take it off, put it on, take it off, put it on, take it off, and it's still as sticky as day one. So that's pretty slick. But I think when I set up a couple of stages, my dad was down when my daughter was having surgery, and so we laid them out. He's like, "Man, those things going to stick to the wall?" I said, "Yeah, my man says they won't." But it was really easy to use. But I think from a training perspective, what I like the most out of it, outside of the dry fire side, and I'm working on more center fire divisions that don't have a 16-inch barrel, and so I'm coming out of a holster a little bit more, and that's a different concept. But what was very eye-opening to me is what Bill was talking about, that whole aspect ratio. I mean, to see them up on the wall, I guess you just don't think about it, or at least I don't when I'm at a match, is, yeah, the front targets on roundabout are 3 or 4 times the size as the back targets on roundabout. And you've got these little adhesive circles that tell you how big they are. I mean, it's very interesting to see the difference between the two. And so I'm looking at the stages. So roundabout's got a 5-foot spread. Speed options, one of the bigger ones at 8 feet. Accelerators 4. Outer limits is 8. 5 to go is 9. Showdown is 3 feet, so it's pretty compact. Smoke and Hope, to Bill's point, is the largest. It's 11 foot 3 inches. And then Pendulum is 4 feet wide. And how much did you say this kit is, Bill?
The kit for where you can set all 8 stages up one at a time is $30.
Wow. That's a great price.
So the upgrade for that is to add the expansion pack, which lets you put all 8 stages up on the wall at once. That's a whopping $8 ad. And then there's, man, I'm drawing a blank on the stage name. The one where you got to shoot it from both sides of the box.
Showdown.
Showdown, right. So there's an additional small add-on for Showdown so that you can leave it up on the wall, right? So otherwise you got to move a couple targets around to make it from the opposite box.
Right. So for $38, what you're telling me, for $38, you can have every single stage on the walls of your living room, huh?
$42, I think you can put all 8 stages up, including the additional roundabout, and not have to take anything down. Just take over the entire house with dry fire targets.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I like that, Jeff.
And you'll be able to dry fire as much as you want because you'll be living alone.
You won't have anything better to do.
Hey, Bill, since Jeff doesn't have a home range, I'll have to get with you afterwards so we can drop ship him a set.
Yeah, he's going to need them if he's going to keep up with you, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's right.
I got to do something.
Right.
I mean, everybody with a home range is a GM, aren't they?
Well, in their own mind, they are. That's for sure.
Steve was the best shooter on the range yesterday. The only shooter on the range yesterday. So.
Truer words have never been spoken, Jeff. So tell me a little bit more again about this. How did you develop this kit? I mean, where did you get the adhesive from and all that kind of stuff? You guys were after a match having a couple of brewskis and said, "Hey, I got a good idea."
Well, no, like I said, it started off with dry fire targets for USPSA and IDPA. We had already developed, because you can buy dry fire targets that are usually some kind of cardboard type thing. You gotta maybe put a hole in your wall because there's a little hole in it to stick it to your wall, or something to that general thing. And once they're in the wall, you don't really want to move them around because now you're going to add another pinhole somewhere. And the general idea was like, that sucks. Yeah, and you're not really inclined to change up your arrays because it's adding more damage to the wall, or you're putting it up with like masking tape, So where we found a vinyl cloth. It's a coated cloth, so they don't rip and they don't bend up too bad like you would get with like a vinyl sticker.
Right.
But we got those and we tested them out and found that you can overlap them, you can stick them on top of one another, you can leave them on the wall for a couple months and they'll peel right off just as well as they did any other time. And what it lets you do is it lets you change up your dry fire every time you go to play because it's not a lot of work. You take the sticker off the wall, stick it on a different spot. You're good to go. It's a different array than it was the day before,
Yep.
So we've got different scales as far as that goes for those kits. You got usually we stick to like the 1/3, the 1/4, and the 1/6 scale for those. Sure. That seems to be the most popular options. Getting ready to play around with some classifier ideas for those targets as well. But once we did that, it was just an easy walk in the park to say, Steel Challenge. They've only got one option right now, and it's kind of pricey, so we can probably do better, and we've been able to do better. So.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I saw your post the other day on Facebook, and what we'll do is we'll post a link to our to your website featuring this product on our Steel Target Paint Facebook page, out on the podcast page. I've seen a couple people.
Oh, that'll be great.
Yeah, I saw a couple of people picking it up already, but no, that's really really cool. All right, man, I gotta go.
We make them in.
Go ahead.
Sorry, but we make them and ship them, and it takes about a day and a half. They'll be out the door and on the way to you. So.
Gotcha. Whereabouts in Area 8 are you located, Bill?
Delaware.
Oh, okay. Cool. You're from
That's why nobody's
Delaware?
heard of me. I've been hiding. No, South Jersey originally, and then I
is that
moved to a
right?
free state.
Hey, I'm from upstate. I'm from upstate New York, so
Yeah,
yeah, I moved.
Ah.
Yeah, I moved down to Atlanta, and Jeff ran a little bit further than I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. So I'm interested back to this meme thing because I admit it. And Brian Conley, we've been together from a sponsorship company perspective since day one. So I love Brian like a brother, but man, I couldn't stop laughing with the couple that you guys put out there about Hunter's HD Gold and the guy from the other glass company that shall not be named. No, the Rudy Project stuff. I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, it seems like the more mean I am, the more happy our viewers are. What you got to be careful with. So there are, like what I said earlier, there's some off-limit things. We won't post a picture of somebody unless we've already gotten permission from them. So if you see that we posted an image of somebody, it might, as mean as, the one with Cesar Sanchez might have looked, he said it was okay. He thought it was hilarious, and he wanted me to put it up right away.
Yeah.
So,
that's cool.
we make sure it's okay with people first. But so that's kind of our limit. We don't want to mess with somebody and have them be upset with us. So we'll check with them first.
Bill, this is Steve. You have my permission to make fun of me.
That's it. It's on radio. I can't.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's done.
Jeez. There's so
I
many
mean, you
bad
guys.
things I
Everybody
wanna
knows
say.
that. Anybody that shot Area 8 and what was it when we did the tan colored paint knows that I really like messing with people.
Yep.
What was that, 2018? We did the tan paint. Really hurt some feelings with that one.
Mm.
So are you just doing the memes, or do people send you ideas, or do you have a crew that puts them out?
I have a small team of guys. I've got 4 guys that help develop content. We do have people that send us things, and generally speaking, we say thank you, but we don't do that here. Everything's original content from our team, just because you don't know where stuff comes from. You don't want to not give credit where it's due, so we just avoid the whole concept.
Sure.
Whatever goes out from us is actually from us. It's not from somebody else that sent it in. So we've actually scheduled them out. So I could look, but I think we're scheduled out to like middle of December at least right now.
Oh wow.
For 2 new memes a day, and then if something happens in the current events, we'll add to that.
2 a day. Holy cow. That's awesome.
Well, I mean, sometimes you don't feel funny, so you don't develop anything for a few days, and then you sit down and inspiration strikes, so you just knock out a bunch of them at once and then schedule them out, so you don't have to worry about it.
So people know where they can find these memes. Tell them where they need to go.
Right. So it's at Go Fast Don't Suck, and you can find us on Instagram and Facebook. We've got a Twitter page, but we pay no attention to it.
You and everybody else that's over the age of 30.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm too old for that now.
That's funny. All right, and so why did you decide you mentioned that you purchased Alpha Gorilla Sports 2 months ago, is that right?
Yep.
So why did you decide to head down that side of the business? You're making jerseys and banners and shirts and hoodies and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so when Alpha Gorilla Sports was kind of floundering a little bit with being able to get things out in a timely manner. And I didn't like that it was falling apart because it was the only place in Area 8 that we could, not have to shop around for, and it wasn't a ridiculous price and things like that. And I kind of had a discussion with the owner, and we came to an agreement. And, I took over basically. So we've rebranded most of it as Go Fast Don't Suck, but for a lot of the younger crowd that really shouldn't probably have that kind of words on their garments, we don't push it. So we'll put Alpha Girl Sports on the stuff still. It's still a brand we carry.
Right.
But yeah, part of that was the dry fire target, and because that was also from them. And what I found was the production of them was way too expensive. So I was able to get the production down, and at the same time, I was also able to started looking at making banners. So I look around the community, and everybody just has some banner guy that they know that has a pretty decent price. And, companies will go out and they'll spend a few $1,000s in banners over a sponsorship season and never see those banners again.
Sure.
And when you're spending, upwards of $100 for a banner, that hurts your feelings a little bit,
Right.
So I've got two banner styles we're going with right now. One is your standard banner size, and I think for a 4x3 foot banner, we're at $20 with another $8 or so for shipping.
Wow, that's great.
We'll ship it straight to your event for you, so you don't have to worry about it. If you are an event, we'll ship it to you. That way you can use it. I mean, these things really only have to last 4 days, for a major match, and then if you never see it again, it doesn't hurt so bad. If you can get it back, great. But if not, it's not going to hurt your feelings too bad. And then the other one we've got is a real inexpensive banner. We're starting to work on it in the idea of it being for stapling to target stands.
Mm-hmm.
So you can put your company logo out on target stands by stapling up a couple of these little banners. And right now it's at $10 for 3 of them. And you send that to a match, $10 for 3 of them plus another $4 or $5 for shipping. It shows up at a match. They staple it on the target stands and throw it in the dumpster when they're done, and you're out a whopping $15 for the whole endeavor.
Wow, that's awesome, Bill. Let me ask you this: have you guys ventured into more of the decal side? Because I've got my own logo and all that kind of stuff, and so I make little 3 and 4 inch stickers to give to kids and stuff like that. Do you guys do that as well or not?
We do. Actually, one of the things that we do is if there's a team or a match, well, let's start with the team stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you got a team that wants to have a bunch of matching jerseys and stuff, so they'll call me up or we'll set up an email system, and we figure out what their jersey is going to look like, and when everybody's in agreement, we open up a team store on our website that their whole team can go to, pretty much anybody can go to.
Right.
But their whole team can go in there and they can buy T-shirts, they can buy their jerseys, and then the other thing we do in there is we also add stickers. So they can do their custom one-off sticker for just their little team, and they could order a bunch of them, some bumper stickers and stuff, and slap them around and have a good time with them. So that's what we do for teams. When it comes to matches, we try to do something that gives back to the community a little bit more than just having good prices on jerseys. So when it comes to a match, if we're doing a match sponsorship deal, we cut the price as far as we can get it down without going to debt. And then what we'll do is we'll put those jerseys, we'll also add T-shirts and, your match stickers and stuff like that to the website under the match section. And if somebody goes in there and says, wow, I know I'm getting a free T-shirt for the match, but I really like the way these jerseys look, I want one, and they buy it, what we'll do is we'll ship that jersey to the match instead of sending it individually to the person, and you hand it to the match, hands it to the shooter. For that trouble, we make sure the match gets a percentage of the profit from that sale.
Cool.
So for a jersey is $5 for the match. If they buy a T-shirt, it's $3. But it's a way to help try to give back instead of just taking from everybody all the time. So if we can help the match put on a better match by giving them a good price on the jerseys and getting them a little bit extra money by helping them sell some shirts, then, I think that's where we should be, doing that type of thing.
That's
Well,
awesome.
Bill, I've got your number, and if you don't know, I run the West Florida Steel Challenge Championships in 2020. It will be the third weekend in July, the 17th through the 20th, and I think you and I are going to have a conversation.
Well, that's good. I'd love to do it. I'd love to, maybe come down there and set up a booth and, the whole 9 yards.
You've never seen a range like ours.
No, Bill, I'm not sure if you have.
But it's well worth it, and we would love to have you there.
Well, good.
Yeah, it's kind of like you're shooting in. You ever been down in the subway and you look down where the train comes? It's pretty dark. That's what it's like shooting at the whack. They've got an airport right next door to them, so they're so it's it's surrounded by cement. And then there's a Bigfoot on top of the cement. I'm still not sure what that's all about, Jeff, but all the bays are covered bays like that. It's definitely a different set of shooting conditions, but they put on one of the best matches, top 2 matches that I shot this past year. Jeff and their crew down there do a fantastic job for sure.
We're smack dab in the middle of Pinellas Park / Largo / Clearwater. And it's an outdoor range, but it's an outdoor covered range. So as Steve pointed out, it's very tunnely. We've installed LED lights. So, I mean, we have night matches, and he's right. We know that we're doing our stage safety briefs at the right time because you have to stop because of the 6:30 planes that are landing.
Oh, it's going to be perfect. I can't wait. I really can't wait. That's going to be awesome. There's going to be so much new material.
oh yeah.
Oh boy.
No, it's
oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I go to matches just to get new meme material any day. I don't do good. Who cares about that?
So Bill, is this what you do full time now, or is this still kind of a part-time thing for you, or what?
Let's call it a hobby.
I got you.
I do it. I run it as a business. It's more of a hobby situation because otherwise I'd probably, jump out of my car instead of going home. But
I hear you.
But I forgot where I was going with that.
There'll be a meme on it tomorrow.
That's right.
Yeah.
A car door open and it's like, what was I doing?
Yeah. That's it. I just enjoy thinking about it, But no, it started off as kind of, that's what I was going to say. So after running Area 8 for 3 years and putting, because I put a lot of energy into making sure that match was as good as I could make it happen.
Right.
And then once I said I wasn't doing it anymore, there was like an empty space of time where, I could just lay around and get fat. So instead, I've been doing this. So I just putting a lot of energy into this to figure probably around 30, 40 hours a week, putting it into it to make sure it stays successful and pays for itself and makes people laugh.
Well, that's awesome, man. I think you got a great thing going on outside of the comic relief side of things. It's funny when I see people get fired up about some of those memes out there.
I'm actually on the website, and I'm getting a kick out of the dumpster fire stage plan sticker. That is hilarious.
Yep, that was one of ours that we came up with. We've also got the United States Pasting and Scoring Association sticker on there. We also have the International Pasting and Scoring Conglomerate for IPSC.
That doesn't exist.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But yeah, we've got a bunch of stuff on there. More coming. I'm working on some additional stuff. But yeah, trying to divide all of my ideas into reality can only take up so much time a day. So.
Yeah, for sure. No, I really like the match shirt idea. Let's say if Jeff's match wants to have a match shirt, instead of paying Jeff and all that kind of jazz, and just make it available to whatever competitor wants to go out to your website or store that you set up for that match. That's pretty cool. Same thing for the teams.
I appreciate that. It was like a duh moment after watching everybody else just try to get every dime they could out of everybody they can. At least this is a way to try to get back.
Well, and Jeff has run several matches, and I have not. I just like to participate because I've only got so much time in the day, but I've got a lot of respect for what people do, the time and effort they put into running these matches. And the shirt thing, that's what a lot of people don't understand. We've had Zach Jones on the podcast several times, and he's run several matches. The shirt thing is just another thing to manage on a busy day. So it's like, why take the hassle out of it anyway? You know what I mean? So
yeah, man,
it's a win-win. That's cool, man.
So, Bill, I'm actually on the website right now, the Alpha Gorilla Sports website, and I'm on the custom jerseys. And you've got some really nice designs here. But what about the ability for someone to come up with their own design? Is that possible?
It is. We've got a couple different avenues for that. So some people have their own artists, and that's great. If you got somebody that wants to send me a file that's already, mostly made, I just have to make it fit into the actual patterns for the garment. Great. I mean, that's awesome. If you want one of the base styles, so the base styles we put up on the website, we can easily change all the colors on those pretty quickly to try to, you see one that's like the brush steel gray, but you're kind of like a red guy yourself. We can change some of the color palettes in that to kind of get it to where you want it so that it looks a lot better than, it's more custom that way. If you wanted to go the fully custom route where it's like, so we've got two different versions of that. One is, I've got an artist, I'll send you to him, he's going to charge you what he needs to charge you for his time, and he'll set you up with a design. Two ways of going with that is if you set you up with a design and I really like it, I might ask you, hey, you don't have to pay that guy if I can put that on my website for other people to have. And then it doesn't really cost you anything. Gotcha. But if you set up a bunch of time with him and you want a one-off where you're the only person that has that design, then you pay him. That design goes into production just for you, and nobody else can have it.
Gotcha. Now, what about logos? Are you building a library of logos, or should people be sending you logos? And if so, there's about 4,000 different formats. What's the best ones they could do send them to you?
Yeah. So the way that we do that is I'm building a library of every logo that comes through my door, right? So I've got a library from when Alpha Gorilla was running thing. I'm building that up with I'm restructuring the file system so I can keep a better tab on what I do have. And then, so when you fill out the order form, there's a spot for local or obscure sponsors. That's where you load up, Bob's Gunpowder Shop, Uncle Tom's Bullet Guy, all that stuff. Right. Load up the best image you got there. I'll usually shoot an email if it's not going to work out. Maybe I can send it off to get it turned into a vector, otherwise not. So the best format to send us is going to be a vector all day, every day. A vector image is drawn in math. I can scale them down. I can change the colors on them. And it's real easy to make it really pop off of your shirt without having to mess with it too much. If you're going to send something that's not a vector format, that's not like a .ai, an EPS, or a PDF in vector form, then the very next best thing you can send is going to be a high-quality PNG with a transparent background. If you send me one that's actually, when you open up the file, it's only 4 inches big, you're not going to like the way that looks on your shirt, because once you scale it up, it starts to get all pixelated and you lose the definition of where the lines are supposed to be. But if it's a big, PNG, we'll shrink that down or scale it, and we'll make it fit your garment, and you'll be really happy with that. The last step is if you send us a JPEG, you really don't have any options, and you just send us whatever you got, I'll have to have that vectorized, and that's where I got to be like, hey, look, I got to pay somebody for their time to turn that into an image that we can actually put on your shirt.
Yeah.
Usually that runs $20, $25, if it's really detailed. I try to keep people away from that by like, hey, just go to the person you got the sponsorship from. They probably have a vector of this.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's cool. That's cool.
But yeah, Bill, one of the things we do when it comes to laying the shirts out, when I'm saying that we'll adjust the colors and everything, we'll do your logos, we'll get them all on your shirt, is I do a live layout. So we get hooked up. I do a screen sharing session where you can see what I'm doing on the computer, on your phone, your tablet, your PC, and we can change everything right there on the spot, make it perfect just the way you want it, and then that's what goes into production.
Oh, that's awesome.
Very cool. Oh, jeez. As we're talking here, I'm scrolling through the Go Fast Don't Suck Facebook page, and I just came across the Teddy KGB meme for Christian Sailor. Everybody, get out to this Facebook page. Get out to the website. Check it out. They are funny. They are tongue in cheek. And Bill, I'm going to go out on a limb and go take them for what they're worth, which is just to have some fun. You have no malicious.
Yeah. No, we're not trying to be mean to anybody. I mean, you know, that's why we email people ahead of time, make sure they're okay with it. I mean, yeah, everybody feels so strongly about this or that. We let them, you know, slap each other around in the comment section. We try to filter any of that. So, but yeah, it's all just for fun, guys. It's not meant to hurt anybody's feelings. Just try to get a laugh out of somebody, and you know, somebody's going to be upset about it. It's the internet. You know, we've got over 8,000 followers now, so you're bound to have somebody that gets salty with you.
You're probably going to get people going, why don't you do one on me? I want to be in a meme.
All I have to do is something really stupid that we find in our feed somewhere. We'll email you like, hey, this stupid thing you did, we want to make fun of some more.
Oh, boy. I'm in trouble, Steve.
Oh, boy. Yeah, I got so many things you know, I'm working on self-control. That's working for me right now. Oh,
all right,
man.
Steve, say that again. You digitalized out.
I was just gonna say we've got some things that got Bill, like, you know,
No, you're
in your van, you know, stuff like that.
It got worse that time.
yeah. Okay, there's some
now
dead
he completely
space.
dropped out.
No, there's some dead space there for him to help for editing. He can find those dead spaces.
okay.
You still got it, Steve?
My internet, that's put them in cities.
Okay, I'm hoping you can hear good. Not you now, Mike. Yes, this is what you down, Mike. That actually might make it in. No.
That's funny.
Okay, you're coming back. Good.
All
Well,
right.
Bill, this is great information. Great having you on the show. Is there anything else you'd like to share? You know what? You're a shooter. You shoot USPSA. You shoot Steel Challenge. A lot of times we'll ask the shooters for a tip. You got a tip that you could share with people?
Yeah, bring your Bluetooth speakers and have fun when you're on the range.
There you go. I like it. I like it.
Don't just sit there and be cold and shake and just sit there and, you know, stare everybody down the whole day. Go bring some music, you know, put it on so your squad can hear it and just have a good time.
I'm bringing my bows this weekend, Jeff. Be ready.
Sounds good. It'll be good for the so-called bonfire.
Sounds good, man. Well, Bill, thank you so much for being on. We really appreciate your time. You've got some great stuff going on, and we'll definitely be doing some business with you guys. We appreciate it. We'll put a link out to the banners and your Facebook page and your website and all that kind of stuff out on the podcast page. But thanks again for taking your time to spend with us tonight, Bill. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, guys, thanks for having me. It was a good time.
Thanks, Bill. Hey, Steve, you know what we forgot to do? Hand out that podcast code
Discount
for
code.
rangestore.net. Yes.
Yeah, use discount code STPodcast10 for 10% off, rangestore.net. All right. Have a good night, everybody. Appreciate it.
All right. Good night, everybody.